What makes a sound iconic? The whistle of a train, the roar of a crowd, the cries of a bird of prey? Well, our next exhibit might just qualify for the terrifying sounds it made as it dived upon its unsuspecting enemies. Step in the museum and let's take a look at this frightening relic of the past, the Tevarin Talon. Like this. Welcome to the museum. This is a series where I break down the lore of items, vehicles, and ships in sci-fi universes. If you enjoy this, please like the video, and be sure to leave any other questions you have in the comments below on your way out. Remember that the museum is supported by your generous donations on Patreon, so think of supporting us there to keep these coming. The history of the Tevarin is one of martial power, a species so dedicated to the act of war that even their supreme leaders were given the title of warlord. This wasn't just any violent culture though. The Tevarin believed in strength in unity and protection through technology. During the Tevarin Wars, the Talon became the icon of those ideals made manifest to their enemies. While the development of the first Talons is lost to time, they first show up in human historical records in 2541, at the start of the First Tevarin War. At that time, human fighters were almost entirely reliant on heavy armor to protect them from harm. This meant that human fighters tended towards the medium or heavy variety. As a result, human fighters were slow, but did have a lot of firepower. Meanwhile, the Tevarin's battle doctrine had always been focused on stealth and speed, hit-and-run tactics with surgical precision. As such, their technological advancement was more focused on shields and speed over heavy armament. The result? The Talon could fly circles around their UPE counterparts and take any lucky shot the human pilots could land on them and still get away. Adding to the danger was the synchronicity of the Tevarin pilots. One of the core beliefs of Rejora, the religion at the heart of the Tevarin, was that of unity, working as one to complete a goal. A coordinated assault by a flight of Talons could hit a target with surgical precision and disappear before any UPE fighters could even scramble. Adding to the terror of the Talon's assaults was the distinctive screaming whistle the ships made as they dived into atmospheres. Of all of the accounts of the Talon, every one mentions the distinctive whistle of a diving Talon, making it as much a psychological weapon as a physical one.
Before you could even scramble the fighters, they'd be on top of you and unleash hell. And then they'd be long gone, disappear without a trace. And you would just be a sitting duck with your comms fried, waiting to hear that whistle again. Lieutenant Weber Forbes, 12th Fighter Squadron, UPES Horizon, 2544.
In the end, the tactical skill of leaders like Ivor Messer and the innovative technology developed by companies like Aegis Dynamics would win through the day, leading to the conquest of the homeworld of the Tevarin and the diaspora of their people. Still, the Talon left its mark on human technology. Almost every fighter built in the UEE today owes its survival to the innovative projector technology reverse engineered from captured Talons. Even the rise of light fighters like the Gladius, the Buccaneer, and the Arrow is in direct response to the effectiveness of the Talon. This isn't the end of the story though, because though the Tevarin had lost the war, they were far from defeated. In 2603, a new warlord rose among the ranks of the scattered Tevarin. His name was Korathal. He returned to UEE space with a rebuilt and updated fleet, with even more advanced and upgraded technology, including a brand new version of the Talon. Known as the Shrike, the weapon swapped out for bespoke missile bays, capable of launching 24 Size 3 missiles. Shrikes were as capable of coordinated strikes as their Talon predecessors, but now would overwhelm their targets with missile barrages meant to bypass the new shield tech of humanity. With new technology and updated tactics, the Tevarin would hand defeat after defeat to the UEE. However, once more, clever tactics and ingenuity defeated the Tevarin fleet as they were poised to retake their homeworld. The consequence of the loss at the Battle of Centauri was a costly one to the Tevarin culture. Dismayed, the followers of Rajora burned their records and destroyed their technology to save it from the clutches of their now permanent human overlords. Any surviving records would be destroyed by the xenophobic UEE as a punishment for them daring to attempt to reclaim their world. As a result, the Talon would fade from history as technology marched on. Until 2944, when a new system was discovered. This system was given the name of Cabal, and had some very interesting and exciting prospects for development. A world perfect for terraformation in Cabal 2, and an extremely rare, naturally occurring human habitable world in Cabal 3. As studies of the system began, it quickly became apparent to the surveyors that they were not the first intelligent beings to have visited the third planet. Extensive Tevarin cities were found abandoned all over the third world. No signs of struggle or conflict, just a perfectly preserved snapshot of the Tevarin during the First Tevarin War. Among the cities were equally preserved ships, including the Talon. Esperia, the company dedicated to recreating non-human space technology for the human market, negotiated for some of these Talons and other artifacts to be transported and studied by Tevarin historians and engineers. This became the most exhaustive study of Tevarin technology since the First Tevarin War. Esperia's fanatical dedication to authenticity won over many Tevarin experts whom they enlisted in their efforts to preserve the historical legacy and make history come alive once more. The results were the 2950 Talon and Shrike, updated for modern use but retaining the natural characteristics of the infamous design. Even the original escape pod design has been recreated for this new model. With a mass of 28 metric tons, it's almost half the mass of the workhorse light fighter of the UEE, the Aegis Gladius, while holding about as much firepower. With a length of 20 meters, a width of 18 meters, and a height of 5 meters, it's on par with every other fighter in its class, while being naturally more stealthy than any of its competitors. The Talon now stands as a miracle of history, a relic once thought lost, now brought back to life through perseverance and care of a team of experts dedicated to respecting the culture of the original builders while bringing it up to modern standards. Perhaps the infamous whistle returned to the battlefields of the 30th century, striking fear into the hearts of those that hear it. I want to thank you for coming to my museum. I want to thank my Patreons on the screen now for keeping the doors open. If you too want to see more exhibits like this in the future, consider becoming a patron yourself. Every little bit helps. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, remember, ex Historia ad Astra.